What's up, y'all? It's AMFG time. Today we're going to look at some games that David played with international master Yacc, aka Yakov Norowitz, international master from New Jersey, very friendly, down-to-earth guy who's exceptionally strong at chess. So let's check these out. So I'm not going to add the engine because, you know, it's a little bit cheating. I made a study which I'll include in the description, so users can go and check out the moves and variations for themselves. So c4 is a little strange. I mean, it's a move, but usually if you're going to play Maroczy binds, you play knight f3 first, and then after g6 or e6, you could think about playing c4. Usually you play d4 first, but David had something else in mind. He's playing kind of a close Sicilian type of position, but yeah, as you can see, black's bishop is open and white's is going to be blocked behind these pawns. I mean, it does put a pressure on black's d5 break, but I mean, this is possible. I play actually a similar system as black against the Sicilian. No real comments so far. This is the first kind of weird move. It just drops a pawn. Interestingly, Mr. Norowitz did not capitalize on that. He's got a very solid style, especially when he's playing blitz, where he's not even really worried about capturing pawns or making the very, very best move, just as long as his position is very solid. And see, me, if I miss something winning a pawn, I would like panic and be like, oh, maybe now I won't win the game. But he's so good that he's going to win the game regardless. So he doesn't even take. He just brings his other piece closer to the center. I'll show you that variation. We can win a pawn real quick. You can just grab the money and run. And black has a nice center, extra, well, kind of a semi-center pawn. What's this called? Extended center pawn? Yeah, and this guy's just kind of hanging out. Basically, black's up a pawn for nothing. So, but instead, knight e to c6. And yeah, but now David starts playing some good moves actually. He puts f4, trying to break things open. And then f5, going for a kingside attack. And then bishop to h6, attacking the rook. The rook moves. And here he starts going astray with g4, really throwing his kingside pawns up, like trying to checkmate. But really, queen d2 would be better, just controlling the dark squares more. And then maybe later you start launching this pawn forward. Yeah, maybe pawn to g4, knight to g3, and if black wants to trade off the bishop, he has to do it like this, which is going to be a lot more favorable. In fact, this is probably just mating, right, or winning the queen. Whereas in the game, sorry if I did that rather fast, but the idea is we're just dominating the dark squares over here, and there's no way that black can trade the bishop off without losing massive material or getting mated. But after g4, black was able to play here, and now, yeah, now it's just awkward. David just hung a piece for no reason with f6. Obviously, you have to take, but now it's awkward. Now, white's king is actually exposed. I'm not sure what the best move would be here, but yeah, there's the dark squared bishops gone. Bishops are gone. There's no attack. This pawn is hit. Yeah, I'm really not sure. I mean, this is not the end of the world for white, but he's definitely not checkmating black, and he's got a bad bishop. So, but after f6, he just blundered a bishop, and then he gave away another pawn, and then he gave away another pawn, and then he goes on an attack, and Yacc attack could also be known as Yacc defense because he defends pretty well. Here, David's just kind of throwing everything into the bonfire, trying to defend, and Yacc attack defends pretty calmly. making sure everything's protected. He's even willing to give up this f pawn, but that'll just trade more pieces, and black will be 2 pieces up. David tries for tricks, going for checkmate, but of course IM is not going to fall for that. He just calmly brings another piece to defend. No, an engine might say that, engine might say this is objectively better, but I mean, why worry about that? This is nice and safe. It protects this pawn again in case white wants to sack his rooks here. He'll have to sack both of them and just have a queen. And indeed, David does play this. And here David resigns because he's 2 pieces down, and there's no way he's breaking through on this solid double defended pawn here. So that's game number 1. What can we really learn from it? I mean, the opening was actually kind of a success for David after f4, f5. But the main thing is, yeah, you have to maintain control of this long diagonal. So g4 was a little ambitious and kind of missing black's defenses. But queen d2, now again, black does not want to trade this way. This is just the end of the world. But he's unable to defend this way, and this is a nice advantage for white. You still have to break through and win, but it's just very awkward to for black to defend. So that would have been a nice game versus Yacc. I mean, I'm sure Yacc would have managed to defend and probably win at the end. Excuse me. But yeah, you do have ready-made ideas. Yeah, maybe g4, going for g5. Although that's a little tricky, because then if f6 here, you're not getting the queen into h6 so easily because it's blocked by pawns. I mean, these type of positions are tricky. Winning the one game, there's whole books written on this. But I'm just quickly going over some basic ideas. All right, let's look at the second game. All right, let's not have a spoiler, shall we? So here Yacc starts with g3. They play c5, knight c6. Here he plays d6. I think like g6 or e6 is a little more flexible. d6, sometimes with e6 you can go for d4. If you're going to play d6, you're probably going to play g6 anyway, because after d6, like this bishop is not getting out on this diagonal. I mean, you could play maybe e7, bishop e7, but anyway, d6 isn't really bad. But here David's going for this setup again. f4, so he doesn't really have very many pieces developed, whereas black has a lot, but this is still fine. It's still anybody's game. The opening is not really too important compared to tactics in the middle game. So David castles. Yacc's regrouping. Ultimately, well, I saw this game live, so ultimately played here, here, and here. And yeah, I guess there's not too much that black can do about that. Take the rook. I don't know. This rook's going to come under attack, so I don't know why not take with the bishop instead. I guess this is his idea. He just wants to attack at all costs. But this is not going to really work against a very solid positional player. Because remember, you have a king too. And yeah, this bishop's blocked in by all the pawns right now. This knight's not going anywhere without being traded. So the position is not really warranted to like go smashing ahead at the king. If you were ahead in development and you had like maybe some knights or something, then yeah, this makes sense. But in this position, not so much. So David's just trying to open things up, but I don't even see how he's going to open up the g file unless white voluntarily opens it up for him, which is not going to happen. I like this move a lot, just calmly contesting the center, putting pressure here. Yeah, nice solid position for white. David takes the g-pawn. Yacc attack takes away from the center, but opening up the rook here. And yeah, having pressure here. And rook e8 is a blunder because of this fork. but also now the queen is pinned. You could play bishop here to defend the queen so you can move the rook, but this is still a problem. David comes in with his king, but that walks into another pin, and yeah, this is just pretty much game over. Yeah, too much pressure here. So yeah, David in this position wasn't really ready to attack, and like the objective best move is just this, but this was played, and yeah, David just has to run away somewhere, but it's hopeless either way. And there's mate. So yeah, in this game, the main problems, yeah, G5 was just very inappropriate. And here I would take the bishop, and this is still anybody's game. Yeah, black has two bishops, but it's a closed position, and yeah, these knights are going to maneuver into here. Probably one of the bishops will be traded off anyway. Yeah, so, but yeah, this was just a little too much. And the rook over here didn't do anything. So, all right, let's go over the final game. Oops, let's not spoil it. So we got a C3 Sicilian. And I really like this variation. I played it a lot. I have pretty good results in Blitz. Played it a few times over the board. I think also with pretty good results. So the book move is bishop e2 and then knight c3. But I think knight c3 right away is more fun. There's a lot of possibilities for black to go wrong. I put some of the variations up here just to give you an example. If the queen goes all the way back, you can kick the knight. Already this is great for white. And you can even sacrifice the queen because it's not really a sacrifice. And in fact, you're winning a ton of material here. This is totally smashing for white. Let's go back. After knight c3, if the queen moves somewhere else, say to h5, you can push forward. Feel like 9 times out of 10, black's going to play rook to d8. But then you can just pin this knight. You're going to win the knight no matter what, unless black wants to sack the exchange. Let's see. Yeah, no engine. Yeah, I don't think you want to take because then queen takes hits the rook and the knight. Let's see, can you play here? No, I don't think that's good. You can check. King over here. I mean, probably you can just take the bishop, and it's still a great position for. Yeah, you'll just be up in exchange even if you do this. I'm not sure these are the best moves, but yeah, white is up the exchange. He's going to castle queenside. He's lost a few pawns for the exchange, but yeah, lots of pieces out. Bishop's going to come out probably to e3, castle queenside. There may be even better moves, but I'll let you guys look at this with the engine. But anyway, these are just some examples of what happens if black moves the queen. Here is also a nightmare situation. Black's just losing a piece straight up. You can also do this. And if knight goes back, then you're winning a whole queen. I've had this happen in numerous blitz games. Anyway, so Yacc plays the best move. Bishop takes knight. Queen takes. Queen could take this pawn, but then you're getting a lot of time on the queen. So that's definitely worth a pawn. So queen takes, pawn takes, and after knight takes pawn, black is a pawn up, but white has two bishops. Both of them are open. Black has no development. After this move, here, for instance, this knight is just lost, or the rook is lost. Just game over already. If takes here, I mean, this is a great position. The king is wide open. You're going to develop, I'm not sure whether bishop e3 or bishop f4, and then you're going to probably not even castle queenside, either castle kingside or king e2, because you don't want the king on c1. You want one of the rooks there. You want like king up here, one rook to d1, one rook to c1. I mean, yeah, it's unlikely that the black king is going to survive this. So the most common is this check here, 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 here. And according to the engine, this is about equal. Remember, black's still pawn up, but practically speaking, it's much funner for white to play. The idea is that white is more likely to trap this knight than black is to trap this knight. You're going to play bishop f4, pivot the knight here, sometimes even bring the rook over, and you're getting some free checks. Yeah, well, after e6, that blocks the check, but I'll add this to the game. But yeah, let's see, after e6, bishop e5, king c8, bishop f4, blocking the king from going here, and okay, I've never seen it go quite this way. But yeah, we can look at that full game later. Anyway, Yakov avoided all of that and just simply played e6, which is a perfectly good move. And the engine calls it about equal here, and the engine's probably right. Black didn't win this pawn, but white's pawn structure is wrecked. He does have the two bishops, but now you just have to play chess. There's one game that's been played here. I cited that. You could look at it. Bishop e3 was played. Why is bishop e3 not being played? Bishop e3. Oops. No, what the heck is going on? Bishop e3, knight f6. Bishop c4 I don't really understand because why put pressure here? Engine, I believe, recommended castling. Yeah. You could also pin this knight. It's about equal position. But David pushed forward right away, which, okay, you have the two bishops, but you're not ahead in development. And yeah, now black is ahead in development because he's hitting your knight with a gain of time. David does get a couple checks, but now after here, he's pretty much has to trade bishops and not have the two bishops anymore, unless he wants to drop back here, lose this pawn, then he could castle. But now you're two pawns down, and I really don't like playing with an outside pass pawn, especially against someone like Yakov, because he's going to queen this sucker. So instead, David castles, reasonable, defending the knight, connecting the rooks. Yakov took, develops his last piece. This is still almost about equal, but then David makes a bad move. It's a tricky position. I would probably play in a blitz game something like this. Let black trade if he wants. And yeah, black's probably a tiny bit better because these pawns are bad. Maybe even more than a tiny bit better. But this is just not good. In fact, the engine gives G5. And yeah, obviously then I can't move. You have to, oops, not that. You have to trade rooks. And now I highlighted all the squares that are covered. So you have to either go back to G2 or E2. E2 seems the most natural. Although G2 could have some merits. It's going to come to the safe square in E3. But yeah, now this pawn's attacked. Let's say black counterattacks. Although, yeah, I guess this is the idea. But simply H6. And if white has to play a move like this, then yeah, this is just awkward. And yeah, black can get the center with his knights, controlling this square. These pieces are obviously awkward. This bishop is not loving life. But Yacc is not one to go into unnecessary complications. He just keeps it simple. Attacking this pawn. Engine liked this more aggressive move to defend and attack, pinning actually Black's knight instead of getting his own knight pins. Yeah, and then this is a problem. And here David blundered. Well, no, actually not yet. He holds it together for a move. But now, yeah, King C2 is called for, and this is just kind of inexplicable, losing two pieces or losing exchange anyway. But this is beyond hopeless here. And yeah, there's not too much point. Black's just gonna get a whole queen. Yeah, and that's checkmate. So went downhill kind of quick. Yeah, this is definitely something that needs to be prepared for if you're going to play this line. I've actually almost never seen it, but it's interesting Yacc played this like pretty quickly, even though I'm not sure he's ever seen this line because he's not a Sicilian player. He plays the Caro-Kann. But this is just very solid, and now you just have to play chess. Yeah, d5's a little too ambitious. Yep, so those are the three Yacc attack games. Hopefully David will play some more games. I played 5 games against Yacc myself, losing all 5 of them, unsurprisingly. But they were all interesting. And hopefully I'll see Yacc in New Jersey when I come there this October. I shouldn't tell my millions of fans this in case they all prepare for me, but I'm planning to play the Eastern Chess Congress, I think it's called, in Princeton, New Jersey next month. There's an under 1900 section, and I'm rated, sadly, 1899 right now, USCF. So, yeah, I just feel like I have to play, and I haven't played a big tournament in a while, so I'm kind of fiending for it. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed those games. We'll be back with more videos in the future.